Hello everyone. In this video we're going to begin our exploration of section 3.3, solving applications for systems of two equations. To begin, let's work our way into an example, but first let's talk about the total value. So let's say that I have 1, 2, 3 beads. And let's say that I know that they're each worth 50 cents. Then to calculate the total value of all 3 beads, we would take 3 times 50 cents. So I'll actually write it like this. I'll say 3 beads times 50 cents per bead. And that's your total value. Now, watch what happens. We get 3 times 50 cents. That gives you $1.50. So notice that in this equation, the beads are canceling out on the left-hand side of this equation. So you're just left with dollars. So whenever you want to calculate the total value of some quantity of something that's worth something at some price, you just multiply the unit price times the number of that quantity. So that's just something I wanted to touch on first before we get into this example. So I'm going to cover example 2 in the text. It's covered on page 167. So it says that Starbright Jewelry Design purchased 80 beads for a total of $39. And that's excluding tax, but I don't think tax is going to come into the calculation at all. But they say that some of the beads were sterling silver beads costing 40 cents each. So we had sterling silver, which were 40 cents, so $0.4 each. And then we have gemstone beads that are worth 65 cents each, or $0.65 each. So that's the setup. This is the information that we need to solve the problem. But let's begin by defining some variables. So I said that SS corresponded to sterling silver. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say let S be the number of sterling silver beads. I've identified that variable, and then I'm going to let G be the number of gemstone beads. All right, so we've identified S and G, and now we can write out some equations. So this is always the first step, is to identify your variables. The next step is to translate the words that we know into some math equations. So for example, there's 80 beads total. This means that S plus G equals 80. The number of sterling silver beads plus the number of gemstone beads is 80, because those are the only 2 types and we have 80 of them. Next, we know that each sterling silver gemstone bead sells for 40 cents, and each gemstone bead sells for 65 cents each. So with this information, we can come up with this kind of value equation. We can come up with a value equation in the following way. We can say that 0.40S, so that's the total value of coming from sterling silver beads, plus the total value coming from gemstone beads, 0.65G, and remember that's going to total up to $39. Awesome. So now we have a system of 2 equations with 2 variables, which means we can always solve it or there's no solution. but regardless, there's a procedure to figure out which one it is. So here's how we approach it. We can approach it via substitution or via elimination. I suggest that we tackle it via substitution. So note that we can just take this second equation and multiply the entire thing by 100. What that will do is that will essentially move this decimal place 2 places to the right, which will mean this disappears, and then this gets 2 zeros added to it. So I just took the second equation, multiplied it by 100. That makes things a little bit nicer. Now I want to solve for one of the variables. Well, the first equation makes that nice and simple. We can subtract g from both sides of the equation here. And then we get s equals 80 minus g. So I solve for s here. And now I can use that in equation 2. This is equation 1. This is equation 2. I'm going to bring in 80 minus g where I see s down here. This is the substitution method. So instead of s, I write 40 times 80 minus g plus 65g equals 3,900. All right. So I'm going to bring this up a little bit. And now we just need to distribute, leaving us with 3,200 minus 40g plus 65g equals 3,900. And now we can combine these two like terms together. That leaves us with 25g. And then we can subtract 3,200 over to the other side, leaving us with 700. And lastly, we just need to divide both sides by 25. So we get g equals 700 divided by 25, which turns out to be 28. So g is 28. That's the number of gemstone beads that we'd like to sell. And then just remember that to find out s, we just need to do 80 minus g. So it's very immediate here now. S is equal to 80 minus g, which we just found g to be 28. So s is 80 minus 28, which leaves you with, what's that, 52. So we get that s is 52. So we need 52 sterling silver beads, and we need 28 gemstone beads. In order to have a total of 80 beads, that checks out. 52 plus 28 gives you 80. And also, if we were to plug in these values into the second equation, we would also see that this one's satisfied as well. In other words, if we sold 52 of these and 28 of these, we would indeed have a total value of $39. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope this helps with making example 2 from the text a little bit more clear. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments or ask me in class or via email, whatever way you need to. And in the next video, we're going to cover some more. In the next videos, we're going to cover some more applications of systems of 2 equations. So we'll see you in the next one, guys. Have a good one.